questions on the internet about how I do my little bird, how I do my bird videos, how I set it up. It actually is pretty simple. I made this wooden bird feeder probably about 10-15 years ago. I got to replace the roof here. I should do that this weekend or next weekend. The roof's pretty flimsy. Also, I got to paint this up. It's getting a little messed up. The wood, it's getting a little discolored. I'll clean that thing up here pretty soon. I should repaint it, make it look all nice. But anyways, what I did was I got a piece of plywood and I put a selfie stick here. Yeah, my birds are doing selfies. And I made these little camera mounts. I can find a link for it, or I can show a quick video on that sometime. But basically, it's just Home Depot eye bolts and a wing nut and all that. So what you do is you assemble the camera. So I put one camera here. This is my this is just the Eakin. It was just a cheap Eakin 4K camera. I got it at Micro Center one year on sale for Black Friday. I got it for $25, and it's definitely well worth the price because this thing right here is awesome. I mean, the sound quality is not the greatest, but I'm using my GoPro for normal videos. But for the birds sitting outside, very good video. I think it does 4K at 30 frames a second, which it's good enough. I mean, it's not the greatest. I mean, you can get something faster, but it works well for this. I think I'm set at 1400. I think I've set at 1400K for 30 frames. Works out pretty well. So I had this mount right here. As you see, it just screws on. So this is where my action camera goes, my Eakin. And then I have another mount right here, and I'll show you that later, where I put my cell phone to do live feeds. I don't know how else to connect to GoPro, or how else to connect to Facebook Live or YouTube and all that stuff. So I just use my cell phone, and I've done 2-hour videos before, and also too I have a Wi-Fi repeater set out here, so I can get pretty good digital out here, or pretty good signal, because you need that. But anyways, that's all the setup is. All right, there, everybody. This is Carl with Collecting with Carl. You can see my bird feeder videos. I also do my deer feeding videos. I also have search abandoned stuff like that. But anyways, feel free to click on my channel, check it out sometime. But anyways, I've been asked. People have asked me how I get my camera mounted to the bird feeder. And what I do is basically what I did was I was able to find a way to make a crude kind of a tripod that mounts to that screws into wood. So basically what you're going to need is you're going to need a bolt. I think it's about a 1/2 inch bolt, looks like about 2 inches. A nut to fit it, 3 washers, 1, 2, 3, an eye bolt that can go into wood, and then also another eye bolt that is a 1/4 inch diameter, and it has to be 20 threads per inch, I think. It's the exact size for a tripod, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1/4 inch, and it's 20 threads per inch. Basically, what you do is you can Google it. It's the universal size, for the screw piece to a tripod. And then on that, you'll need to put a nut. And what that does is depending on how deep your camera mount is, the thread depth is, you want to put the nut there so it has a piece it can stop onto. Okay, so now here's how you assemble this pretty simple thing. First thing, you take the bolt, you put a washer in. See, you put a washer, then take an eye bolt. Okay, take a second washer, and the washer needs to be as big as the eye. It needs to be as big as the eye or bigger, because if it goes in there, it's not going to work. All right. Then you take a second eye bolt, take a washer, and then take the nut. And what you want to do is you want to tighten this all together. Tighten it all up. Okay, and you may need to use 2 wrenches to make this real tight, but tighten it up so it can be adjusted. Okay, yeah, here we go. Now, This piece right here, the piece with that piece screws into the wood, and then this piece is where your camera will mount to. And you can adjust it. You can turn it 360 degrees, and you can adjust the angle with this right here. And once you get it in position, tighten it up, and there you go. It's pretty simple. Now, like I said, you just put your normal, and then you just attach your camera there. Now, something else I did is a lot of people like to do live streams. Live streams are cool. Like to go to Periscope. Like to go to, I think you got Periscope. You got Facebook Live. You got YouTube Live. You got a lot of different sites to do that. And to get your camera to go, to get your camera set up to go to one of those sites. I don't know how to do that. It's pretty. I still haven't figured that part out yet. But the simplest way to do it is with your cell phone. I know. So most people, you can go to your cell phone and just go Facebook Live, or go to YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Periscope, all that stuff. And what I did was I went online. I figured out how to make a mount for my camera to go to one of these guys. And basically, the only difference is that you drill a hole, so this could fit in there. And then you gotta put a nut there. So you gotta put, see if I can do this without causing a mess here. And then what you do is you put a nut there. So you tighten this up like this. Okay. And then you set your camera on there. I put a rubber band to secure it. If you want to do that, you just go up here. Usually the best way to do this is to go like that. You may need to go around twice. You may need to double it. Actually, I'll double it for the sake of the camera here. So you put on like this. Put it up like that. Watch out for your buttons because you don't want to press them all. And then there you go. Now you got yourself a nice camera mount. It's not going to fall out. Just the camera, So you got this mount. Then you can adjust the angle, and you can adjust the direction. And what I do outside is I have I have a Wi-Fi repeater out there I put in, and you can get some good. You can go straight to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and all that. So I'll show you how to make this thing real quick. This is actually a pretty simple thing right here. Alright, so now all this is just a flat piece of you go into building supply section, either Home Depot, Lowe's, 84 Lumber, or wherever you have a place that sells home goods and stuff like that. I just bought a flat piece of metal. Okay, and you want to make it so that the piece of metal is taller than the width of your camera, and you also want to have enough so you got enough space to work with down there. This piece right here, I think it's about 6 inches long, and I got it for, I think it was like $1 maybe. I think I got it for $1 at Lowe's. And what I did was I had some extra leftover rubber gasket, and I used that because I don't want my camera to scratch against the metal. And also what I did too, I used a rubber gasket because the problem is your buttons here. I want to put it so that my buttons don't get pressed. I don't shut the feed off by mistake and stuff like that. Now, if you don't have these rubber, if you don't have the rubber gasket or you can't find it, you could probably use a piece of cardboard and cut it. And you can use other things. Then I just put duct tape on the side. I just put duct tape on here just to keep it in place and keep it from scratching. And then what I did was I just bent it at a 90-degree angle. If you have a lot of these pieces come pre-bent, or I just put it in my vise and just bent it. Just bent it real quick. You can even do it with pliers too. You don't have to be perfect. And then to put it on, you put the camera in place here. I just take this rubber band. You use rubber bands you got. I do it like that. Put it around like that. Make sure your buttons are not being pressed because you don't want that to happen. You can adjust this a little bit. And now you got yourself a good, cheap, easy mount for a camera. This thing right here is probably, this is cheap. It's easy. I've already used it a bunch of times. The only thing you may not want to do is probably not the best idea to leave it out in the rain. I usually bring it in. If you're got a couple days without rain, you could leave it out there. Just take your camera off. And once you got this, you can go Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Periscope, and let all the fun continue. So this is how I do it. All this stuff right here, all these parts were all purchased at just a regular Home Depot, Lowe's, any place like that. I would suggest you buy extra nuts and bolts and extra pieces like that, because once you get this thing set up, you can use it. You can use this for all kinds of stuff. And also too, this will also fit like a telescope, a spotting scope. A lot of these fittings are the same. So I mounted one of these on my deck, and I have a spotting scope out there, so I can look at the birds. I can look at the birds with a spotting scope. Makes life easier. But anyways, that's how I did this. Not very difficult. Took probably all this stuff here probably cost less than, I don't know, probably $5-6, except for the phone. The phone's pretty expensive. The hardest part is just trying to find the equipment for this. And if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, just ask. I mean, there's people, if you tell them what you're doing, and you're doing a project, a lot of those people, they like doing the projects as much as you do. Go with a good attitude, help, tell them, look excited, and they'll hook you up. And this stuff's pretty cheap. I mean, it's a simple way to do it. It's simple at last. I mean, I leave this stuff out all the time. So this, the only thing I gotta watch out for, if you have this on your deck, you don't want to hit your elbow with it, because it can hurt a little bit. But I just leave this stuff mounted outside, and it has no problems. But like I said, that's how I do it. Have fun with that, and come to my channel, Collective with Carl, if you want to see more bird stuff or any outdoor stuff. I had the birds. I had the wildlife feeder. Go out the river at times, and once in a while I'll check some abandoned stuff, do some historic stuff. So feel free to check out my channel. Like I said, it's Collective with Carl, and hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much.